This was just the beginning of
Adi, wake up. It's time. Adi.
the first and the best thing I see when I wake up in the morning is her smile.
Adi,
Meghna,
it's time.
my
It's
wife.
late.
I'm Aditya Raj, and this part of my life was called growth. I was the CEO of a multinational company in India, and now one of the growing and successful businessmen in Dubai. It's been 2 years since I had taken half of Dad's burden. This was something my father was longing for. I was a person who always thought was taking the right step, and it would turn out to be one. I had a vision, and I took the company to a different level. Such a top level, where I was known as a tough competitor in today's market. My goal was not to be a survivor, but to be a winner. Even the slightest of error for me would shake me up.
What is this? How many times should I tell you I just don't want it this way? Not once, not twice, not even a million times! Just go, take it away and go!
Recession hit the globe and was spread like wildfire. Many had advised, including my dad, and suggested me to be happy the way things were going, and not to aim for anything unwantedly for now. But my fame and success triggered my overconfidence, and I exactly did what was unwanted. I thought of starting a big project, which made me feel that I could actually achieve a target no one can even dream of in this current situation. Days went by, and I was actually realizing that I dug my own grave. Regret and worries took over me, and stress was the only thing I was living with. My mind was blank, my world was dark. There was nothing that could give me hope. Since then, I started hating every inch around me. I tried each and every way of finding a diversion. I used to see my college pics very often to keep the spark burning inside me. But this time, something unusually caught my attention. When I used to go through hard times like this a couple of years back, I used to pour out to one person. She was everything for me at that point of time. Her name was Roma, my ex-love. My instincts persuaded me to find out where she was through my old pals. And coincidentally, she was in town too. This part of my life was called the desperate measure. I called Meghna and I had to tell a lie. I had no choice. I felt guilty and I was so nervous, but I made it. I felt so nostalgic being with her.
Life is treating me in such a negative way. In spite
I
of
just
my
felt
efforts.
like the old days and I started pouring out.
I just want to kill
And
myself.
like always, she did come up with something. Something unusual.
You know, I have this friend of mine who's into organizing these big profile parties, and people wanted to be in her glittering, glitzy world. But no one really got to know the other side of her life. It was hell. She was in this position, something like yours. Look at you, just like what you are in now. And then
She found a thing that showed her happiness. It transported her into a tension free world, a problem free world. Mesmerizing. Euphoria. It's just.
magic.
And then
She became so close to this thing, it became a close friend of hers. She couldn't live without it. People call this addiction. Do you know what I'm saying?
You mean drugs?
Maybe for people like you, but for her, it was happiness. That friend of mine is me. And this is my only friend, my only source of happiness.
Roma, it's not right, Roma. I mean, do you know what you're doing?
तू तू सिर्फ फट्टू ही रहेगा. You will never ever change. You know what? You will never be happy in your life. You will never be happy in your life. 2 years back, when you left me, do you even have the slightest idea what I had to go through? I had to lead an entire world that reminded me of you. And I had to come to this dirty world that's filled with nothing but money, fame, and lust. Where do I go, Auntie? Where do I go? This keeps me alive. I'm happy. I'm not a loser like you. You didn't do anything 2 years back. Neither will you do anything now. चूड़ियां पहना दूं मैं? मर्द तो बनो मर्द.
I can't be happy. I can't be happy. मर्द बनना है ना मुझे? Take this.
It was 11:30 p.m. Exactly 4 to 5 hours after it got me high. Her words were playing in my mind repeatedly like a song. The experience I had last night triggered the battle between the saint and the sinner inside me. I just loved the way it took me away from this dark, sad world for a couple of hours. This is what I was longing for. Well, this is what happened. $20K. I think that's enough.
What?
I need it. She couldn't believe that a person like me fell for it. But that's how desperate I was. So desperate that I could go to any corner of the world to get it. It was different. It was a different experience. I stepped inside a world I never dreamt of. I never knew that I actually had the guts to deal with a drug dealer. I got my stuff, and further on, it became so normal. The guts came from nowhere else but from the slave inside me who fell for it. I realized that I finally found my friend. A friend who gave me hope and happiness. What the hell is wrong with this guy? This was one question everyone had in mind, including my wife. Well, I was on the roll. I felt young again. I explored more ways and means to keep myself happy. I began losing my appetite. I was becoming thinner day by day. I was a changed man. Neither was I Aditya Raj, nor was I Adi. I was so advanced in terms of consuming drugs that there was no looking back. This part of my life was called euphoria. I began to exist in a world beyond the real world. That world was mine.
I believe in the wonder. I believe there's new life to gain. Like a god that I'm under. Days of drugs run I'll feel no shame. The world is mine. The world is mine. The world is mine.
3 months went as smooth as a breeze, and I changed a lot. A day came where I was at home spending time with Meghna. What a day that was. The fact is that I became one of the most sluggish men on earth. I would be at home more than the office. At this point of time, drugs was not a part of my blood, but it became my blood. So any day would be incomplete without it. I just couldn't live without it. Something was wrong with me that day, but I knew that if I took my drugs, I would be fine.
Yeah. Ask him to wait. Ask him to wait.
I actually couldn't believe I was digging and searching for it in my bag. There was not one day I can say that I missed to keep it inside. And I was still quite sure that I didn't miss it anywhere. I was delaying the meeting. At the same time, I badly wanted my drugs. Not being in a good frame of mind, I had to proceed on with the meeting. Here was Mr. Lewis, a big client who had the trust in me and also who was a part of my project, actually came all the way, not for the reason to meet me, but for actually losing patience with me. I had taken the project very lightly after he had given an advance check 3 weeks back. And all that was running in my mind is where did I miss those drugs?
Oh, yes, sir. I'm listening. You were saying something.
He couldn't tolerate me anymore, and he actually fired me by asking his money back. I was in a frame of mind mixed with many things. First, frustrated without the drugs. Second, I also wanted to give it back to him, since he hurt my ego very badly.
Mr. Aditya. Okay. Mr. Aditya. Whoa.
Easy. You got him now. How did you?
He had lost all the respect for me, and he never would have dreamed for something like this to happen.
Now that's very chill.
We are done.
You done?
He was so shocked and insulted, like anyone would be, and this is what I wanted. But later did I realize that I actually lost a good client. My project was written off, and I actually became a definition of failure. I couldn't take it anymore, and all I wanted was my drugs. I was going crazy, more crazier, because there was nowhere else that I could search for it other than my bag. This was the first time I experienced how life is without drugs. This part of my life was called paranoid. The stage made me feel like I was already in hell. I could feel the chill going through my spine. I started shivering like I never did before. I was shaken even by the slightest of noise I could hear. My type of paranoid was hallucination, seeing things that actually don't exist. It all felt so real, like my office was actually haunted. I could smell death. The only thing that could help me was drugs, and the only person I could reach out to was Roma.
Where are you?
Return, Nadi. They're after you. Just go somewhere. The cops after you. Run, go.
She was being trapped too by the cops. My condition was getting bad to worse. And my assistant Ravi, who came for my help hearing the noise, was attacked by me as a reason of self-defense due to my hallucination.